Dear viewers, the purpose of this video is simple, to make you think about things in Minecraft in a way that is different from the way you may have thought of them before, to make you rethink things and re-see things in a new light, and specifically to make you think about language, specifically the English language. I don't know about any other languages. I don't really play Minecraft in any other languages, but I want to talk a bit about how Minecraft has altered the English language within its universe. And this video is not against any of those changes. I'm just a nerd who likes to think about things way too much. So I hope you enjoy this, and with that, let's dive right in. So on this platform, I have grouped some words. There are some nouns on this side, and over on this side, there are some verbs. And I'm gonna go through them one by one and talk to you about some things I've noticed. So let's start off with this big old box. This is a ghast. Most of us probably know that. It has a big old box for a head and a very strange name. Have you ever thought about the name of the ghast? I think the name of the ghast is very fun because I could interpret it in two ways. Number one, ghast is one letter away from the word ghost, which if you think about it, I know it doesn't seem like it at first, but ghasts really are kind of like ghosts. They'll fly around roaming, lost, they sound so sad and lonely. I know there are many differences, but they're scary and creepy, and it feels like the word ghast could be a play on the word ghost, at least to me. And the second interpretation that I have of this word, and the one I think is more likely where the name came from, is the word aghast. Not the two words a ghast, but the word aghast, meaning afraid, terrified. According to dictionary.com, which I will be using for the definitions in this video, the definition of aghast is struck with overwhelming shock or amazement, filled with sudden fright or horror. That, I think, is a pretty great name for a mob that flies around and shoots fireballs at you. But moving on, let's talk about the husk. The definition of husk is the enveloping or outer part of anything, especially when dry or worthless. Also a pretty good name, in my opinion, for a creature that comes after you and starves you and wanders around the desert like a shell of its former self, having been a lonely traveler who starved to death many decades before. I really like the name husk as well, and maybe you'd never thought of the word in this way. Also notice? I just noticed that the ghast disappears if I look in a certain angle. Interesting. Anyway, maybe you'd never thought of the name husk in this way. If so, I hope I've made you think a little more deeply about this strange creature. And now the blaze. The definition of blaze is a bright flame or fire, or as a verb, to burn brightly, to shine like flame, to burn with intense feeling or passion. Blaze, of course, being a perfect name for this fiery creature that flames up and shoots fireballs at you. Everything about this mob is fiery, so Blaze is a great name for it in my opinion. And now the hopper. What on earth does that mean? And I will grant you, hopper is a weird word, and maybe you'd never really thought about it, like a thing that hops? I don't even know what that means, but apparently, according to dictionary.com, a hopper is a thing in real life, a funnel-shaped chamber or bin in which loose material as grain or coal is stored temporarily, being filled through the top and dispensed through the bottom, which sounds pretty much exactly like our hopper in Minecraft. So a hopper, even though you might not have thought it was a real thing, is an actual real block. No, not block, that's Minecraft. An actual object. And now for Prismarine. Here is a quote from Jeb about the name of Prismarine. It is on the Minecraft wiki. I picked Prismarine because 1. It sounds good, 2. It references water with marine, 3. It references its shimmering effect I hinted at with prism, and 4. It doesn't really mean anything in the real world. I really like the name Prismarine, and I think that quote just about sums up why it's a cool name, and maybe you'd never really thought about the origin of the word Prismarine. That's the thing about all these words. We kind of use them without thinking too much about what they mean. They have acquired their own separate meaning, which I think is fascinating. Now, chorus. Chorus is a really wacky one, because, I don't even know how chorus got its name, but I think it's a really neat name. The definition of chorus is a group of persons singing in unison, a piece of music for singing in unison, a part of a song that recurs at intervals, or to sing or speak in chorus. And finally, the big guy. The big baddie, the Wither, of course. And the Wither also has what I think is a very fitting name. The definition of wither is to shrivel or fade or decay, to affect harmfully, or to cause to lose freshness, bloom, vigor, etc. If I say wither within the context of Minecraft, you're just going to think about this guy. You're not going to think of anything else. But I do think it is very fittingly named, and so the fact that the word wither means this mob, I don't think changes the meaning of wither all that much at all, really. Alright, and now we'll move on to the verbs. First of all, there's some lava over here, and I'm going to very carefully shift over the edge of these barrier blocks. Did you catch it? It wasn't barrier blocks, that one seems obvious enough to me. Shift. Have you ever thought about the word shift in the context of Minecraft? This action of crouching. It's supposed to be called sneaking. Some people call it crouching. It does look like crouching. That seems fairly appropriate to me, but sneaking is what it's called, which also makes sense because it makes your name tag go gray, right? And it makes you sneak around, makes you less visible. So that makes sense, but we all call it shifting. I mean, honestly, how often do you hear someone use the word sneak or crouch? Not very often. I mean, sure, you hear it, but most of the time we just call it shifting because of the key we press on our keyboard. That really just reveals the fact that Minecraft is a video game, right? But I find it fascinating that instead of the two words that accurately describe the function, we have chosen the word that is just the letter we press on the keyboard. We don't call throwing items queuing. For that matter, we don't call walking Wing. We don't call sprinting controlling most of the time, as far as I know, but we call shifting. Go figure, right? The English language and its interactions with Minecraft are weird. Then we have a couple other verbs here. Here I have a dark room. You see, it's very dark in here. I'm going to switch into creative mode. How would I want to solve the problem of this dark room if I didn't want mobs spawning in it? Well, the first obvious choice is to torch it up. And yes, I said torch it up because that's what we say, isn't it? We torch up places that we want to be lit up. We put torches in them everywhere. But you don't say to grass up. You don't say to sign up. You only say to torch up. For some reason, the word torch has become a verb. And I'm not entirely sure why. But that's an interesting little thought to chew on. I don't have much more to say than that, but I guess it's such a common function that it has just become a verb. Next up, the ender pearl. This one, pretty obvious, right? We've turned pearl into a verb. I'm going to pearl over there. You don't say I'm going to teleport over there because that would imply the kind of teleportation that's done with commands. No, instead you use ender pearl. Ender pearling as a verb, or just pearling for short. And I find that quite fascinating, especially since, you know, an ender pearl is not an object in the real world, but it's become a verb in our own favorite blocky world. And isn't that wacky? We also have bone mealing. That's a similar thing. Bone meal, I believe, is a real thing in real life, but as far as I know, it's not usually used as a verb, yet here we could say I want to bone meal grass to grow grass or flowers. We bone meal stuff. We don't put bone meal on stuff. We don't use bone meal to grow stuff. We just bone meal it. That is the term we use. What if I wanted to harvest this grass block? Well, I could, you know, get an enderman to pick it up for me, but that might take a while, and then I'd have to kill it, and it'd be a long process. So, of course, we have something more handy, which is not a barrier. I meant to pick block the diamond shovel, which is conveniently enchanted with Silk Touch. Silk Touch, of course, being the enchantment that we use to pick up blocks that are otherwise unobtainable and sometimes fall down. And I find this one fascinating as well because we say to silk touch something. We silk touch things. I mean, that's weird, right? Why do we silk touch blocks instead of pick them up with silk touch? The enchantment silk touch has become a verb. Isn't that weird? And finally, I want to give an honorable mention to the slime block, which is just weird. Like, if you really think about it, this is a block made of slime. No matter what you think of as slime, that's pretty weird. Alright? It's just pretty weird, and we don't even think about it. We're just like, oh yeah, slime blocks. You know, those green bouncy thingies that are fun to jump around on. But, I mean, You're jumping on literal slime. I don't know, I just thought that was wacky. Anyway, I hope I've made you think about some of the words we use in Minecraft. Regular old day-to-day Minecraft. We've made some weird stuff up, and the Minecraft team has also made some weird stuff up, and we've done a pretty good job at changing the English language around a bit, and I find that pretty fun, pretty cool myself, so I just thought I'd make a video showcasing a few of the words that I think are the funniest and wackiest in this game that I love, and hopefully you enjoyed this. I'm a word nerd. Sorry if I'm being nerdy. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and comment and subscribe, and I'll probably see you next week. Bye!